Hello students, my name is Lavvi Tripathi and I have taken your course module for security issues previously, and in these lectures, in the previous lectures, we had taken up the course on social issues and social justice with you people. Only few topics of those entire course module is left, that is in the social justice part, only your vulnerable schemes related to the vulnerable section of the population is left, and the education sector problems related to the education sector is left. So in order to get access to the course module for social issues and social justice and also security issues, students can download the ABCIS app from Google Play Store, and they can buy our courses. They can also visit our website to buy our courses, and the website name is abcis.com. So after visiting this website or by downloading this app, which is ABCIS app from the Google Play Store, you can get access to all the recorded video lectures for security issues and as well as for social issues and social justice. Okay, so you can also get access to the recorded lectures, like the entire lectures, through our app, and this app is called as this. This is the link for the Google Play Store app from where you can get access to the recorded lectures. So please visit the website or through whatever mode you want to get access to the recorded lectures. And the lectures which I have made for security issues or social justice are quite comprehensive in content, and they will give you a good insight and will give you a good understanding of the entire subject concepts, and also they will give you good insight as to how to attempt any question in your UPSC mains examination related to security issues or social justice. They are also current oriented lectures, means whatever are the current developments, I have tried to cover the current developments as well, both in the security issues as well as in your social issues and social justice topic. Students can get access to these recorded lectures by these two modes. First is the ABCIS app, which you can download from the Google Play Store, and you can buy our courses from there. The respective course fee will be mentioned like with the course only. Beneath the course, you can get the knowledge about what is the particular course fee, and according to your suitability or affordability, you can buy those two respective courses according to your convenience. Also, you can visit this website, I'll repeat again, abcis.com, and you can buy our courses from there. You can get access to the recorded lectures through this app, this is the app link which I have provided here, and you can get access to the recorded lectures through this app. Okay, so moving forward, as I had told you that only two major topics are left from your social issues and social justice module, and the last topic, the second last topic that I'll be taking up with you is the education sector, and the last topic will be the various government schemes which are launched by the government from time to time for the vulnerable section of the society, whether it is for the women schemes, major schemes related to women, or it is for the elderly or for the disabled section of the society. So that will be our last topic for this entire social issues and social justice module. So now let's begin with the education sector, and let's have a glimpse of the scenario of the education sector in India, like what is the progress of education in our country since independence, and what is the importance of education for the Indian society, how far we have progressed, in all the three sectors of the education, whether it is primary education, secondary, or you can say higher education. So we will look into all the sectors and we will see the associated problems. So economic growth, you have to understand first. If you are writing an essay about education, or you are writing, see what the lectures, the content that I have provided in the lectures is mainly mains oriented, so that even if you just go through the lectures and just give a brief understanding of what I have tried to explain, you will get very good content for your answers in mains examination. You will get a very good content, access to very good content to write answer on any particular topic which is related to these particular syllabus issues in your syllabus. So if you just go through the content, you'll get a very good idea, fair idea of how do you attempt to write an answer, because education, health are such topics which could be questioned anywhere. It can be questioned, they could be questioned either anything related to current development related to education, or they could frame an essay out of it. They could ask you to write an essay on education sector in India, or write an essay on health sector in India. In the previous lecture we had talked about the health sector in India. So likewise we will here talk about the problems associated with the education sector in India, how far we have progressed in everything related to education in India. So the economic growth of the country, it not only depends on natural resources, technology and capital, also on the quantity and the quality of manpower. You have to understand that health and education are such matters which are actually building the human resource capital. They are building on the human resource capital, and they improve the quality of life. If you are having good health, that improves the quality of life. Also, if you are having good education in your life, that also improves the quality of life of a human being. So that is why education is very important. So that is why economic growth, it depends on other developmental parameters also, apart from natural resources, technology and capital. It also depends on the quality of life a man leads, and quality of life is largely dependent on the kind of education you receive in your livelihood life, and also the kind of health status in your entire life. So the quality of manpower, we mean the efficiency and productivity of workforce. See, there is workforce, there is every kind of workforce. Labor workforce is also there. That labor workforce is not that much skilled or educated, so they are leading that kind of a life. Then there are certain people who receive good education. They are having a different efficiency and productivity at their workforce, at their work. So obviously education improves the efficiency and productivity of the workforce. Okay, what is the contribution, major contribution of education in the society? That it improves the efficiency and productivity of the workforce. The efficiency of the manpower, it depends on many important factors: health and nutrition, education and training, housing facilities, safe drinking water and sanitation. So efficiency of manpower depends on all on these factors, and education and training are one of the most important of those factors. Okay, education is the most important component, but out of the various components of social infrastructure, well educated and properly trained जो manpower होता है, properly trained manpower means you have got requisite skills for a particular job. You should provide requisite skills for a particular job, that is called as a properly trained manpower, that can accelerate the pace of economic development. Okay, obviously economic development will flourish if you are having a well educated and properly trained manpower. Now, what are the provisions in the Indian Constitution which are related to education? Okay, provisions in the Indian Constitution related to education. So, under Article 45, you have got a provision for education. It was mentioned that the government should provide free and compulsory education, because everything in this country is based, the pillar of every sector in this economy or in this country is based on our constitution. So if you are studying about health or education or any such factor, you have to understand what are the provisions which are given in the Indian constitution regarding the same. So for education, what are the provisions in the constitution? Under Article 45 in the DPSP, it is mandated to provide free and compulsory education for all children up to the age of 14 years within 10 years from the commencement of the constitution. As this was not achieved, then Article 21A was added, and by the 86th Constitution Amendment Act of 2002, and that what it did, it made elementary education a fundamental right rather than a directive principle. It made elementary education a fundamental right. First of all, it was directive principle. If it's a directive principle, then it is not binding on the government. You know that directive principles are not just a moral force, you can say. They are not binding on the government. So if it was mentioned in the DPSP, then it was not binding. But then it was again introduced as part of your fundamental right. So when it was introduced as part of your fundamental right by the 86th Constitution Amendment Act, as part of your Article 21A, then elementary education was made a part of fundamental right rather than a directive principle, and Article 45 was amended to provide for early childhood care and education to children below the age of 6 years. So now it was kind of compulsory for the government to provide education, early childhood care and education to children below the age of 6 years. Okay. Then to implement Article 21A, government had legislated the RTE Act. RTE is the Right to Education Act, which was brought as part of your Article 21A only, and under that act, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan or SSA was launched. And Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, what its aim is to provide universalization of the elementary education in a time bound manner. This is the main objective of the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, which was launched as part of your Right to Education Act. Okay. Now, SSA has been operational since 2000, 2001, and its roots go back to 1993, 1994, when District Primary Education Program was launched. Okay. And under the RTE, it got legal backing. Current status of education in India is that as far as the literacy rate in India is concerned, it is 74%. Literacy for male is 82.1 and female is 65.5. Kerala is the one state which tops the ranking as far as the state with the topmost literacy levels are concerned, and followed by Delhi, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu. Bihar is the lowest among the states as far as literacy rates are concerned, followed by Arunachal Pradesh, Rajasthan, Jharkhand, etc. However, now they are slowly improving their position. Bihar has a literacy rate of 63.8%, and women literacy is very poor in Bihar, just 53.3%. Okay. Now, the gender gaps जो हैं, if you are considering any factor, whether it is health, education, poverty, you also have to consider the gender gap. Okay, कि जो gender के basis पे बात करें, gender वाला factor आप insert करते हो, तो तब क्या data निकल कर आता है. So if you consider the gender gap in terms of literacy, it began to narrow first in 1991, and the pace has accelerated. However, it still lags far behind global female literacy rate of 7%. So global female literacy rate जो है वो 7% है according to UNESCO 2015, and ये है, and this we haven't been able to achieve. Okay, so we are still behind the global female literacy rate का जो standard है. Now, there are large state variations in the gender gap. However, during 2001 to 2011, male literacy rate increased by 6 percentage points, female literacy increased by nearly 12 percentage points. So you have to understand that here we are trying to trace the history of the development of education in our country, that how slowly and eventually we have made developments in female education. Female education has increased uh, at a faster pace as compared to the male education, male literacy, though there are larger number of males who are more literate than women, but the progress has been better for the women. The female literacy has increased as a faster pace as if you compare it with the male literacy. Achievement in female literacy in Bihar is noteworthy. Okay, from 33% in 2001, it has reached to 53% in 2011. So female literacy in Bihar is noteworthy. You have to understand that it was very low in 2001, though it is still the lowest in the country. But at least it has improved a lot from 2001 to 2011. Okay. India is still lagging behind the world literacy rate of 86.3%. So basically, though whatever progress we have made, but if you compare it to the world literacy rate of 86.3%, we are still quite far behind. Major group of states जो हैं इंडिया में, they lie in the average rank just below the national level of 64.8%. Following, अब now you have to understand that अगर ये सिनेरियो है एजुकेशन का कि फीमेल लिटरेसी अभी भी इतनी पुअर है एंड वर्ल्ड लिटरेसी से हम अभी भी इतने पीछे हैं, so what are the main reasons for the poor development of literacy in India? So major problems which are faced in the progress of education is, the first problem is the lack of sufficient funds. That is the main problem in the development of education. Due to insufficient funds, what happens? Most educational institutions lack infrastructure, science equipment, and libraries, etc. And due to this reason, desired results cannot be achieved. So obviously, you have to understand that if you are trying to develop education or health or any such ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट रिसोर्स का आप डेवलपमेंट कर रहे हो, और यू कैन से एचआरडी का डेवलपमेंट कर रहे हो, ह्यूमन रिसोर्स डेवलपमेंट का, यू हैव टू इन्वेस्ट financially. Okay, you have to invest financially to develop such infrastructure. Okay, you have to develop the research atmosphere in the country, so that more and more research, because every new invention or innovation is because of a proper planned research, and that research atmosphere is missing in our country because of somewhere lack of sufficient funds. So the government doesn't spend that much. That is the main problem in the development of education. Okay, then expensive higher education, and that is why most people, they just drop out of the just college level or school level, because the higher education is unaffordable for the major section of our society, because we know that apart from other stark realities in our country, poverty is like one of the most stark realities of our country. Major section of the and major proportion of our population is not, it's poor, and even if it's not poor, it's that the higher education is so much unaffordable that people are just busy in making up for the daily needs, and they are not able to invest in higher education in the country. यूनिवर्सिटी प्रोफेशनल एंड टेक्निकल एजुकेशन जो होती है दैट हैज बिकम वेरी कॉस्टली इन इंडिया. It is beyond the reach of a common man. Then privatization of higher education has happened that has led to the growth of profit hungry entrepreneurs. Okay. देन वेस्टेज ऑफ रिसोर्सेज होते हैं, ठीक है, बहुत ज़्यादा अपने एजुकेशन सिस्टम में. एजुकेशन सिस्टम इज बेस्ड ऑन जनरल एजुकेशन. एजुकेशन सिस्टम इज बेस्ड ऑन जनरल एजुकेशन. द ड्रॉप आउट रेट इज वेरी हाई इन प्राइमरी एंड सेकेंडरी लेवल. ओके, एजुकेशन सिस्टम किस पे बेस्ड होता है? जनरल एजुकेशन पे बेस्ड होता है. एंड उसका रिजल्ट क्या है कि ड्रॉप आउट रेट जो है इट इज़ वेरी हाई इन प्राइमरी एंड सेकेंडरी लेवल. मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स जो हैं इन द 6 to 14 एज ग्रुप्स दे लीव द स्कूल after before completing their education, and that leads to wastage of financial and human resources. Okay, our education system is general education. Development of technical and vocational education पे हमारा फोकस नहीं है. हमें ये है कि एक प्रॉपरली नॉर्मल एक ह्यूमैनिटीज वाला जो एक फोकस है हमारा एजुकेशन का वो ज़्यादा है. एंड वी आर नॉट फोकसिंग ऑन डेवलपिंग द स्किल्स ऑफ द पीपल. सो इवन इफ यू आर college dropout, or you are any, if you are, even if you are a college passed out student or any such, that is why the unemployment rates are that much high, because you are not providing them the proper technical and the skills which are required by the industry. So even if you are college passed out student, you do not get placed in a proper company, or even if you are placed, the rate of productivity is very low, because throughout your education in India, you have not been able, given proper training related to technical and skills training जो है कहीं ना कहीं lacking है. That is the main reason behind the unemployment in our country. So education is very unproductive. Even if education है, अगर लोग कम से कम कॉलेज तक पहुंच भी जाते हैं, that is उसके बाद they remain unproductive because they have not been given proper skills related to जो भी इंडस्ट्री की या जो भी मार्केट की रिक्वायरमेंट है उसमें प्रॉपर आपको ट्रेनिंग नहीं दी गई है. Hence number of educated unemployed जो persons है, even if you are educated but you are unemployed, because the industry will never hire you because you do not have those skills which are required by the industry. And that is, this unproductive education is increasing day by day, and this has become a very great concern. That is why government has time and again keep launching schemes which are related to skill development. Okay, then enrollment का भी problem है. जो ग्रॉस एनरोलमेंट है हायर एजुकेशन का, दैट इज मच बिहाइंड दैट ऑफ यूएसए एंड चाइना. Lack of capacity to absorb the increasing number of students coming out of secondary education into college system. Issues which are related to inclusiveness and equal access. Okay, how you can say that? Because there is lot of variation between male female education, that shows that there is discrimination as far as the education of female child is concerned. Then also there are a lot of discrimination between different section of our society. SC ST OBC एंड जो अदर बैकवर्ड क्लासेस हैं उनको इतना एक्सेस नहीं मिल पाता है एजुकेशन का, बिकॉज of whatever economic reasons or social reasons. Somewhere down the line they do not get that much opportunity to educate themselves and their children. And obviously between religious groups, between different economic groups, there is a lot of disparity which is being seen as far as access to education is concerned. So equal access नहीं है इंडिया में एजुकेशन को different society, different social groups के बीच में जो एक्सेस का प्रॉब्लम है बहुत ज़्यादा एजुकेशन के लिए. रूरल अर्बन डिवाइड बहुत ज़्यादा है. रूरल एरियाज में एजुकेशन का सिनेरियो अलग है, अर्बन में बहुत. ये तो जो डिफरेंसेस हैं कहीं ना कहीं एजुकेशन को लेके वो बहुत ज़्यादा है रूरल अर्बन एरियाज में. ठीक है. फिर इंटरकास्ट एंड ट्राइब्स डिस्पैरिटी भी बहुत है. फॉर शेड्यूल कास्ट आप अगर देखोगे GR इज 19.9%, and for scheduled tribes it is just 14.2% as compared to national GER of जो एक national average है gross enrollment का वो 24.5% है. But जो intercaste and tribes disparities है that is very prominent in India. Then apart from the other minority groups, Muslims का जो है that they have the lowest rate of enrollment in the higher education. That is very problematic. Okay, that how far the largest minority group in India is so much lacking behind in the higher education of the country. So this is one problem. Then caste-based discrimination बहुत है in the universities, which is leading to suicides. One example is the Rohit formula case you must have heard of. So these are the various issues which are plaguing our education system. Then if you talk of quality of the education in our country, okay, so ये तो हो गया कि higher education तक की हमने बात करी. बट अगर हम सिर्फ प्राइमरी या सेकेंडरी एजुकेशन पे भी फोकस करें, तो अगर हम क्वालिटी की बात करते हैं तो ओवरऑल क्वालिटी ऑफ एजुकेशन इन आवर कंट्री इज ऑल्सो वेरी पुअर. how what is the, you can say, the proof for that? So जो 2015 में एनुअल स्टेट ऑफ एजुकेशन रिपोर्ट आई थी या एसर रिपोर्ट आई थी, that reflects this deteriorating quality for education in our country. Okay, रिपोर्ट का कहना क्या है? रिपोर्ट opines that deficits in foundational reading and arithmetic skills, basically they are cumulative, which leaves students grossly handicapped for further education. Okay, so ACER report जो आई थी, that has reflected the poor quality of primary education, and it has reflected that the children are not able to perform better in even foundational reading and arithmetic skills. That is, their maths related skills जो हैं, they are very poor. Their foundational reading skills are very poor. This particular entire जो एक data है regarding it, that class 5 students are not able to solve class second problems, class 6 students or class 8 students are not able to do class second or third arithmetic problems. ये जो proper data है ACER report का, that you can study from anywhere, internet में हर जगह available है जो ACER report के findings है. बट जो मेजर कंक्लूजन था वो यही था कि देयर आर लॉट ऑफ डेफिसिट्स इन फाउंडेशनल रीडिंग एंड अरिथमेटिक skills of the students of the primary and secondary level, and that leaves students grossly handicapped for further education, because that means that the quality, even the quality of education that you are providing, apart from the factors of the various dropout rates, people because of poor affordability for the education, they are dropping out, is a separate issue. Okay, that after primary and secondary education they do not opt for higher education because of lack of funds and all, that is a separate issue to drop out ka factor hai. But even those who are taking education, they are getting very poor quality of education, because ये एसर रिपोर्ट यही पॉइंट आउट करता है कि those who are even taking education, they lack the foundation reading and arithmetic skills, and that leaves students very handicapped for further education. Education policies जो इंडिया में है, they are focused on inputs rather than on learning outcomes. Okay, so education policies in India are focused on inputs. कि सिर्फ inputs rote learning पे ज़्यादा focus है, rote learning पे ज़्यादा focus है, rather than on creative and critical thinking पे फोकस कम है. सो बेसिकली दैट इज द मेन प्रॉब्लम, दैट इंडिया में जो फोकस है एजुकेशन का, इट इज मेनली फोकस्ड ऑन इनपुट्स, एंड वो इनपुट्स मेनली जो बेस होंगे, वो आपका इनपुट्स का जो बेसिस है इंडिया इन एजुकेशन का, दैट इज बेस्ड ऑन रोट लर्निंग. They do not emphasize in schools also, they do not emphasize on skill development, they do not emphasize on creative and critical thinking, they do not emphasize on other curricular activities, mainly rote learning पे फोकस होता है. एंड जो एक आप कह सकते हो, एक जो आपका डेवलपमेंट है, वो उस लेवल का आपका जो मेंटल डेवलपमेंट है, उतना क्रिएटिव करने पे उनका फोकस नहीं होता है, रोट लर्निंग पे ज़्यादा फोकस होता है. ठीक है, तो ये सारी चीज़ें हैं. फिर टीचर्स के साथ भी बहुत ज़्यादा इश्यूज हैं. द क्वालिटी ऑफ टीचर्स दैट यू आर हायरिंग, ओके, दे डू नॉट हैव दैट मच, यू नो, यू कैन से दैट मच, उनको उतने ज़्यादा क्वालिफिकेशन नहीं होता है टीचर्स का, फिर भी उनको गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स वगैरह में हायर कर लिया जाता है. टीचर की शॉर्टेजेस बहुत हैं, पर जो टीचर प्यूपल रेशियो एक होता है, जो एक स्टैंडर्ड सेट है, वर्ल्ड स्टैंडर्ड है, इंडिया लैक्स फार बिहाइंड, एंड वी हैव लॉट ऑफ शॉर्टेजेस फॉर रिक्वायर्ड नंबर ऑफ टीचर्स इन स्कूल्स. लोकल पॉलिटिक्स ऑब्वियसली प्लेज अ वेरी मेजर रोल. देन करप्शन है, टीचर अपॉइंटमेंट में बहुत ज़्यादा करप्शन है. ठीक है, देन डिफेक्ट्स इन टीचर ट्रेनिंग का जो एक है, उसमें बहुत सारे डिफेक्ट्स हैं हमारे कंट्री में. सोशो कल्चरल फैक्टर्स भी हैं, लाइक कास्ट डिविजन, सिनिकल एटीट्यूड टुवर्ड्स द टीचिंग प्रोफेशन. दीज आर ऑल अदर रीजंस behind the lack of development of education and the poor quality of education in our country. Okay, then what are the quality problem in the higher education? So you can get to know this by only that only 3 universities feature in 200 of the जो US world university rankings होती हैं, उसमें only 3 university rankings are featuring in the 200 of the QS World University Rankings. And what are the major reasons for poor quality in higher education in our country? First of all, faculty का shortage है, vacant faculty positions है, inadequate teacher training है, higher student teacher ratios बहुत ज़्यादा है. ठीक है, that high student teacher ratio shows that the number of students are more than the number of teachers. Okay, overload बहुत है टीचर, as well as in political interference बहुत है. Higher universities and higher institutions में बहुत ज़्यादा political interference in the selections and appointments of vice chancellors and faculties. तो ये सारे issues हैं. Now what are the other issues? And now we are talking of the higher education. यहाँ तक तो हम सिर्फ primary और secondary education या school level education की बात कर रहे थे. Now in this slide we will be discussing about the problems in higher education. So as far as higher education are concerned, curriculum का भी बहुत problem है. It is an outdated curriculum. It is not up to the standards of the जो एक वर्ल्ड का या एक ग्लोबल लेवल पे जो एक एजुकेशन का जो एक डेवलपमेंट हो चुका है, या जो इंडस्ट्री की रिक्वायरमेंट है, मार्केट की रिक्वायरमेंट है, उस लेवल पे अगर हम कंपेयर करें तो इंडियन एजुकेशन का जो हायर एजुकेशन का जो करिकुलम है, दैट इज अ वेरी इररेलेवेंट करिकुलम. इट इज नॉट मैचिंग द स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑफ ग्लोबल रिक्वायरमेंट. You know that now after globalization everything is interconnected. Okay, So you have to prepare your students, and your higher education has to cater to demands of not just domestic needs but also global का scenario क्या है. ठीक है, because most of the employment in our country is provided by the multinational corporations. Okay, multinational corporations are what? They are cross border companies. Okay, so उनका जो एक ग्लोबल रिक्वायरमेंट है और जो स्किल्स का रिक्वायरमेंट है या जो आपके क्वालिफिकेशंस का रिक्वायरमेंट है, दैट इज वेरी डिफरेंट from the kind of education you are providing in your higher education institutions. So you have to keep up with the global standards. And if you compare our education system and curriculum with the global standards, that is quite outdated and irrelevant. Okay, and it is theoretical in nature, so there is very low scope for creativity or research. You can say gap between industry requirements and curriculum that results in low employability of the graduates. Inadequate physical infrastructure and facilities भी नहीं है. Like for example, हम हमारे society में different section of people हैं, disabled भी हैं, और भी बहुत सारे ऐसे backward society के students हैं, तो उनके लिए proper infrastructure भी lacking है कहीं ना कहीं higher education institutions में. That is why disabled जो लोग होते हैं, they lack such education in our country. Then research का बहुत problem है. रिसर्च का क्या है, देयर इज वेरी पुअर फंड एलोकेशन इन द रिसर्च, लो लेवल्स ऑफ पीएचडी एनरोलमेंट होता है, फ्यू अपॉर्चुनिटीज होती हैं फॉर इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी एंड मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी रिसर्च, लो लेवल्स ऑफ इंडस्ट्री एंगेजमेंट, लो क्वालिटी ऑफ रिसर्च वर्क, trends in quality of publication is very increasingly now slowly. Okay, India lags much behind in US and China as far as quality publications related to research are concerned. जितने भी Lancet के publications होते हैं, other space related जो भी एक्टिविटीज होती हैं, या कोई भी लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल वैक्सीन डेवलपमेंट है, कोई भी एक प्रॉपर जो एक बायोमेडिकल फील्ड में भी जितने भी टाइप के ये जो क्वालिटी पब्लिकेशंस होते हैं रिसर्च रिलेटेड, दैट आर वेरी लो एज फार. अगर इंडिया के आप रिसर्च पब्लिकेशंस देखोगे तो वो बहुत लेस होते हैं इफ यू कंपेयर इट विद अदर कंट्रीज लाइक यूएसए एंड चाइना. सो दैट्स बिकॉज द atmosphere of multidisciplinary research is lacking in our country. Okay, then what is the problem related to regulation? There is so much very high control and low support and facilitation for our higher education universities. Okay, UGC has been accused of biased granting of funds, undermining independence of autonomous universities. Okay, then UGC's का एक बहुत flawed method होता है determining the recruitment and career advancement of faculty, academic performance indicator. So UGC का जो method है, that is very flawed method for determining recruitment and career advancement of faculty. So these are the various problems associated with regulation of education in our country. As you can see, I have described the regulatory framework of higher education in India, and through this picture you can understand that फॉर वेरियस फैक्टर्स लाइक पॉलिसी मेकिंग के लिए जो आपके इंस्टीट्यूशन है जो कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं हायर एजुकेशन को वो अलग है, रेगुलेशन के लिए अलग है, एक्रेडिशन के लिए अलग है. तो जो इतने सारे अलग अलग इंस्टीट्यूट्स आपके हायर एजुकेशन फ्रेमवर्क को रेगुलेट कर रहे हैं, उससे क्या होता है, एक कहीं ना कहीं कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट आ जाता है, ये कहीं ना कहीं एक बहुत ज्यादा क्लैश आ जाता है, जिसकी वजह से हायर एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस आर लैकिंग दैट autonomous atmosphere so that they can promote education in our country, because that regulation is controlled by so many bodies. Policy making is the mandate of Department of Higher Education, Ministry of Human HRD, but regulation is done by UGC also, AICT also, MCI also, ICAR also, ICMR also. State regulators भी अलग हैं. Then accreditation दूसरे दूसरे National Board of Accreditation भी provide करता है, National Assessment and Accreditation Council भी provide करता है. So regulatory framework आप देखोगे तो बहुत सारे ऐसे different varieties of institutions या regulatory bodies हैं जो education को control कर रहे हैं, higher education को, and that somehow results in a lot of control or regulation over the higher education facilities, and that undermines the independence and the autonomy of the higher education institutions. So that is a very major problem as far as higher education institutes are concerned. Okay. Then what are the various government initiatives which have been taken to improve education system in India or higher education system in India? The first is the revitalizing infrastructure and systems in education or RISE scheme. Okay. What is the aim of this scheme? The aim of RISE scheme is to increase investments in research and related infrastructure in premier educational institutions. Okay. RISE initiative will be funded by Restructured Higher Education Financing Agency or HIFA, and total investment of 1 lakh crore in the next 4 years will come. Okay, then Prime Minister's Research Fellows or PMRF scheme was launched obviously to promote research in the country to enhance the quality of technical research, and under this scheme scholarship will be given to 1000 best BTech students each year from premier institutions to do PhDs in IITs and IISc. Then Imprint India initiative was launched. It was a giant joint initiative of IITs and IIScs to address major science and technology challenges in India, and also aims to boost original scientific and technological research in 10 fields: healthcare, technology, energy security, rural urban housing design. So in all these different fields, Imprint India initiative, which was a joint initiative of IIT and address to address the major science and technology challenges in all these fields, whether that's manufacturing technology, advanced security, environment, climate change. That is, you are trying to use or utilize the fruits of education and research and major science and technological innovations in all these different fields of related to society in India. Okay. Then Global Initiative for Academics Network or GIAN was also launched. Its aim was to facilitate partnership between higher education institution of India and other foreign universities. So these were the various initiatives or government initiatives that have been launched from time to time to develop the education scenario in India. And what are or what must be the additional key focus areas for the government as far as education are concerned? So you have to develop technology in education, vocational education पे focus करना चाहिए, adult education पे focus करना चाहिए, and you should also focus on promotion of the Indian languages. Okay. Now, what role technology plays in education? So technology plays a very important role in improving the classroom process of teaching, learning, and evaluation. एडिंग टीचर ट्रेनिंग के लिए भी अगर आप अच्छे टेक्नोलॉजी एडवांस टेक्नोलॉजिकल इक्विपमेंट्स का यूज करते हो, तो दैट विल obviously enhance the quality of teaching you are providing in your classrooms. Okay, and so that जो एक boring atmosphere हो जाता है which is just focus on theoretical and rote learning, that will you can avoid that, and you can enhance creative and critical thinking in the students right from the school age. Okay. That will also improve access to education. अब टेक्नोलॉजी का penetration आप देख रहे हो pandemic के टाइम पे बहुत ज़्यादा हुआ है. Now most of the things have been got digitalized, and students are able to access online lectures and all that, so that they are not wasting their time. So such innovative solutions, you have to come up with various innovative solutions, because बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स का इतना कॉग्निटिव एबिलिटी नहीं होता है मैथ्स डिफिकल्ट मैथ प्रॉब्लम्स को समझने के लिए या डिफरेंट साइंस प्रॉब्लम्स को समझने के लिए. सो टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज करके आपको एजुकेशन का सिंप्लीफिकेशन करना है. व्हाट इज द यूज ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी इज you have to simplify education for the students so that it becomes more accessible, and so that जो एक परफॉर्मेंस होता है स्टूडेंट्स का, वेदर इट इज रिलेटेड टू साइंस और मैथ्स, वो इम्प्रूव हो सके. एंड डिफरेंट ह्यूमैनिटीज एंड आर्ट्स के सब्जेक्ट को भी हमें इग्नोर नहीं करना है, बिकॉज सबका इंटरेस्ट डिफरेंट होते हैं. तो यू डू नॉट हैव टू डिस्क्रिमिनेट ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ सब्जेक्ट्स. ऑल्सो सारे सब्जेक्ट्स को इक्वल ट्रीट करना चाहिए, ताकि प्रॉपर एक कॉग्निटिव एबिलिटी डेवलप हो सके, क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग डेवलप हो सके. एंड एजुकेशन में टेक्नोलॉजी का पेनिट्रेशन करके आप उसको और स्मूथ बना सकते हो, ताकि जो कॉन्सेप्ट्स ऐसे होते हैं, डिफिकल्ट कॉन्सेप्ट्स होते हैं मैथ्स एंड साइंस रिलेटेड, दैट आर वेरी इजीली अंडरस्टूड बाय द स्टूडेंट, सो दैट देयर performance improves in the various competitive examinations. Okay, improving the overall planning, administration, and management of the entire education system. So technology will play a very major role as far as these factors are concerned, whether it is teacher training, improving access to education, overall planning, administration, and management. Electrification of all the education institutions for paving the way for technology induction. For that, National Mission on Education through ICT was launched. And what this mission will do is it will facilitate decision making on the use of technology. Also, it will act as a national repository of educational data. It will maintain all records related to institutions, teachers, and students in digital form. Okay, so that एक आप कह सकते हो एक रिकॉर्ड्स होता है, वो आपके पास एक नेशनल रिपोजिटरी एंड एजुकेशनल डाटा मेंटेन होगा, जिससे एक सारे रिकॉर्ड्स रिलेटेड टू इंस्टीट्यूशन, टीचर्स एंड स्टूडेंट्स मेंटेन हो पाएंगे. देन एक सिंगल ऑनलाइन डिजिटल रिपोजिटरी बनाई जाए टू मेक अवेलेबल कॉपीराइट फ्री एजुकेशनल रिसोर्सेज इन मल्टीपल लैंग्वेजेस. सो ऑल दिस मस्ट बी डन. ओके. Now, what are the scenario of vocational education in the country? So, less than 5% of the workforce in the age group of 19 to 24 receives vocational education in India. Okay, that means you have to understand the lack of skills development in the education, and it is in contrast to the 52% development of skills in USA, 75% in Germany, and 96% in South Korea. The national policy on skills development and entrepreneurship has been launched for the same purpose, to promote vocational education in the country, and it is offering vocational education in 25% of the educational institutions. Policy expands this to include all educational institutions in a phased manner over a period of 10 years. So this is being done to promote vocational education, and the scenario for vocational education is very poor in India. You can understand less than 5% of the workforce it receives vocational education in India, which is in stark contrast to what is being done in USA and Germany. So obviously you have to always keep up to the global standards, and that is how we know that is there's a lot need that needs to be done to enhance the skill development and promote the culture of entrepreneurship in our country. So this was it for education sector, guys, and I hope that the lecture was quite useful. I hope the lecture was quite useful for you to understand the various parameters regarding education, whether it was related to primary or secondary or the higher education, and what are the various problems which are manning the education sector in our country. So basically, mainly you have to focus, because whatever questions are asked in the mains examination, they are mainly oriented around the development of higher education. So focus on mainly the higher education, and if you are asked to write an essay or asked to write an answer on education, you also have to keep yourself updated on the various government schemes which are launched from time to time, and so that you are able to write a very good comprehensive answer. So thank you so much. That's it for the education sector.